are we doing? This is a special episode. We're gonna be super goofy, super loose. We're still 1994, but we realized we didn't get to a lot of 1994 movies. So we thought it would be kind of fun to go through some of the movies that we missed and why we missed it. And because I'm the old man, I need some backup. Someone who also experienced the movies, because Casey probably doesn't know a lot of the movies that we're going to talk about. So we wanted to invite back, by popular demand, and by popular demand, I mean myself. She did the same thing on her podcast. Anna Trumbo! Yay!
Hi! I'm back. I'm so happy to be here and talk about all the things.
All the things. So there's no real structure. This is going to be a loose, goofy one. Some of us may or may not be high. Some of us may or may not be a little bit drunk. Some of us may or may not be late. Who knows? But I kind of wanted to go through the list. We know, as we mentioned here and there, the 104, very specific 104 top movies of 1994 from IMDb. And I kind of wanted to go through the ones that I really wanted to watch. We couldn't. I think we could read the summary of IMDb. I think those are pretty short and sweet.
Yeah.
And Casey didn't tell you this, so I must send you some links if you want to read some summaries, because you read them better than I do.
Okay, noted. Thank you.
But the first one I want to talk about is Interview with the Vampire, The Vampire Chronicles. Casey, you made a face. Are you aware of this movie? Have you seen this movie?
I have not seen this movie. I am aware of it, and I was actually pretty sad that it never got picked by the Dice Gods.
The gay vampire movie. In preparation for this, I watched some videos, some like reviews and some retrospectives of some of the movies. And the one I watched for this movie was Why Is All Anne Rice's Vampires Gay? And it's a great little video. And yeah, it's so I'm just gonna pick a random one of the summaries here. Let's do this one. This is by Nick Reganas. Against the backdrop of a gloomy San Francisco, the nearly 2-century-old vampire Louis the Pont du Lac recounts the unbelievable story of his eternal transformation and a life worse than death to the skeptic reporter Daniel Malloy. Spanning 200 years of cruel betrayals, extreme solitude, and unquenched thirst, Louis' grimly fascinating tales pivots around the perpetually regrettable decision to embrace the dictatorship of blood and, above all, his maker, a seductive blonde aristocrat of death, Lestat de Lucourt. Definitely said those names wrong. So Louis' mystical epic of bloodshed genuine? Is this indeed an interview with a vampire? I feel like that question is answered the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yep.
But it is, again, a beautiful, gorgeous, long-haired, blonde Brad Pitt and an okay-looking Tom Cruise.
Brad Pitt was booked and busy in 1994.
It was a busy year for him, yeah.
We had the theory that in one of the Legends of the Fall looks, Brad Pitt has the long hair because of this movie. He has the hair of this movie. And also has a very young Kristen Dunst.
A Golden Globe nominated Kirsten Dunst, yeah.
Really?
For this movie.
Oh, man.
I'm pretty sure. That sounds right.
I believe it. Yeah. I should remember. Should we spoil it, Anna? I don't know if we should spoil it, but
yeah,
there's some.
Spoil it, yeah.
Well, for Casey.
Oh, for Casey. Oh, maybe not. Not.
No, go for it.
I thought you meant for the listeners.
Okay, so full spoilers. But I remember being traumatized by the very gruesome, traumatic death of Kristen Dunst. There's some sad deaths in this movie.
Yeah,
but
it's a lot of sexy vampires, though, which I'm always here for.
A lot of sexy vampires.
I don't
know why I remember Tom Cruise jump scare at the end, and he adjusted his cuffs. Right?
Yeah, I think Casey needs to watch this movie.
Yeah.
Okay, noted.
And it's a good one.
We may do a ranking of the movies. Casey, I'm just going to randomly send you one. I don't even know which one I picked, but I'm just going to DMC you one. A couple of plot summaries. Honestly, I'm not even looking which ones I picked.
You sent me The Mask, which I am
really
hating right now.
Oh my God, I loved it so much. It's one of my favorites from that year.
I remember watching it as a kid. I remember getting it from the library, renting it out.
Okay, let's jump into The Mask.
Okay.
Casey, what's a plot summary?
Let me pull this bad boy up. Which one to choose?
I know, right? Just a couple.
Okay. Timid band clerk Stanley Ipkiss, Jim Carrey. Unfortunately, too gentle and is unable to handle confrontations, which is the majority of people I feel like I know. After one of the worst days, he finds a mask which depicts Loki, the Norse god of mischief. When he puts it on, he becomes his inner self, a cartoon wild man. After Ipkiss's alter ego indirectly kills the friend of a small-time crime boss, Dorian Tyrell, he wants the green-faced goon destroyed.
So
I wish that you had watched this to like wash the taste of Ace Ventura out of your mouth and enjoy something Jim Carrey, because yes, it's 1994. I'm sure there are some problematic moments and scenes in there, but overall, it's so good.
Okay.
It's like peak Carrey.
It's peak Carrey, and also he plays basically those two roles, and he's a very normal, well, kind of good guy, normal human being shy. And then he's Jim Carrey in The Mask. Mm-hmm. Like he's just Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm. But you do get to see him act as Stanley Ipkiss, like, because it's not his normal self. Yeah. He's like meek, mild-mannered guy.
Also, I didn't realize until I was kind of researching for this that The Mask is Loki, which I thought was interesting. And there's a lot of Loki-esque stuff. Now that we're moving to another year, that year has, well, we're going to kind of spoil the year, but that year has Dogma, and it's going to be released this year, apparently. Like, that's a rumor. I'm very excited. This is one of the reasons we're going for 1999 because of Dogma.
That's so funny.
Interesting. Strong choice. I also like The Mask because it has like music and dancing and a really young Cameron Diaz. Mm-hmm. And yeah, she and Jim Carrey have like really good chemistry too. And it's just very fun.
So while researching for The Mask, I'm going to share this very, very pretentious little philosophy channel that I was listening to. All right. This is not the right way to share it, but I'm still going to do it this way.
After you share that, I have a Jim Carrey story that is going to make Casey like him a little more, I think.
Here's where I think the film becomes a particularly potent ideological artifact. As I've mentioned before on this channel, through the Zizekian lens, ideology grabs hold of us in part by regulating our access to and understanding of our desires.
What on earth?
I really wish that had come out like 5 years ago, because he would have been like top dog of like the video essay.
Yeah.
Might have. Well, no, this is 30 years later, so it was last year. But yeah, that. Yeah, if you never listened to Wisecrack, that was a channel, that was his channel, and it was basically just that. Oh, you didn't listen to Wisecrack? That's Wisecrack. Yeah.
Okay, so he was top dog at some point.
Yeah, he was top dog.
Interesting. Very interesting. I did look back at my Letterboxd really quick to see if there are any other movies from 1994 that maybe I had seen that like we never watched or never rewatched. And the answer is no. All the movies from 1994 that I've ever watched for this podcast.
Wow.
Except for Pulp Fiction, which of course I had seen that one before.
Yeah.
That was very silly.
What's your Jim Carrey story?
So on The Mask, Jim Carrey and Cameron Diaz became really close friends. It was one of like an early movie for both of them. It definitely like launched them both into like a larger level of fame. The next year, Cameron Diaz and the singer Chris Isaak presented Best Kiss Award at MTV Music Awards. And Chris Isaak forcibly kissed her. Like, said, "Come here, baby." And she was I've seen the video so many times, and she's just like leaning away, clearly not interested. It's really creepy. He's a really creepy dude. He's been creepy since forever, creepy with the women in his music videos. And Jim Carrey won Best Kiss for Dumb and Dumber. And he goes up to accept the award and smooches Chris Isaak right on the face to basically be like, "Fuck you. This is what it feels like to be forcibly kissed against your will." So funny. Such a flex. Such a like, do not touch my friend again.
We've said it before. I feel like Jim Carrey has redeemed and tried very hard to redeem himself after Ace Ventura. I feel like he kind of distanced himself from that character, especially like in the later years.
Yeah, I feel like current Jim Carrey and in real life Jim Carrey has been less problematic than the movie. Yeah.
So yesterday I did get a text from my sister who told me that her friend's dad apparently worked on Ace Ventura: Pet Detective. And I was just like, okay, like waiting and then she followed up
as the animal coordinator.
Right? That would be hysterical.
Oh my God.
And she said, "Oh, well, he didn't say he was proud of it." And I was like, okay, well, you never know these days. I was a little nervous, but I'm glad you clarified that that was not the crown jewel of his.
As what role?
I don't know.
Or was what?
I need to look it
Crew,
up.
crew or cast?
Crew, I think.
Yeah, that I 100% bet that the whole movie was very uncomfortable for everyone involved. Like, have you seen the second one? I feel like the second one is much better and much less problematic.
I also think it was more kid appropriate, but I haven't seen it since I was a kid, so I truly don't remember. But I do remember he like has his arm up a rhinoceros's butt or a hippo or something, an elephant, a large mammal. Yeah.
He camouflages himself in a fake rhinoceros to observe the wild, but he's like a little, and then he tries to get out, so he's naked, and it looks like the rhinoceros is birthing Ace Ventura at one point. That's what I remember that movie. And a weird sex scene with a gorilla. Anyway.
Okay, maybe I don't remember that movie very well.
The other one that I kind of really want to watch is Stargate, and I feel like Stargate is one of the movies that really got me into sci-fi. This is an excellent, highly recommended sci-fi movie. I rewatched it lately. Totally holds up. It's not problematic at all. Well, it could be a little bit. So in 1928 in Egypt, a strange device is found by an expedition. In the present day, the outcast linguist Dr. Daniel Jackson is invited by a mysterious woman to decipher an ancient hieroglyph in a military facility. Soon he finds that the device was developed by an advanced civilization and opens a portal to teletransport to another planet. Dr. Jackson is invited to join a military team under the command of Colonel Jonathan Jack O'Neill that will explore the new world. They find a land that recalls Egypt and humans in a primitive culture that worships and are slaves to Ra, the god of the sun. But soon they discover the secret of the mysterious Stargate. So I was listening to this other podcast, Historians at the Movies, and they actually interview the Egyptologist in charge of being the guy for like Star Trek and being as accurate as possible to Egypt. And for the most part, it seems like Stargate is very accurate to what Egypt thought of their gods and the civilization and all that. But the effects still hold up. There's some fun, weird creatures. There's like the great cast.
Yeah.
James Spader, Kurt Russell.
But like hot James Spader, if I'm remembering correctly.
Hot, like dorky, nerdy, shy, but then becomes hot James Spader. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that answers the question that I was about to ask, which is, do they keep the same cast from the movie in the TV show?
No.
Okay.
The TV show feel like it's obviously the same characters and the same kind of it continues the story, but I feel like it's a very, very, very different vibe. Like it's just because it need to be procedural, like it need to be episodical and like TV show from the 90s couldn't change a lot of things, and the story of the movies is very well written. I think it was the first movie of Roland Emmerich, or one of his first movies.
It was Roland Emmerich, but I don't know if it was one of his first movies.
But yeah, this kind of movie also like launched a lot of careers. Like it was like again, sci-fi action movie was big in 1994, and I'm kind of sad that we didn't really touch on a lot of those. Doing a complete opposite of Stargate. I want to go to the past a little bit and look at the Flintstones.
A little bit. I love this film adaptation of the Flintstones. I love it so much.
It's so problematic.
Is it really? I haven't seen it in so long. Oh, you're killing me. It's such a perfectly cast. It is really a perfectly cast, like literally perfect. There is not a single cast choice I would change in that film. Is it really problematic? Oh, that's such a bummer. It's been so long since I've seen it.
It's a comedy about a workplace affair, and there's embezzlement, and then there's a sexy secretary played by what's her name?
Halle Berry.
Halle Berry, right. Named Sharon Stone.
Yes.
Get it, Casey? Get it? Mm-hmm. I mean, we could. I'll read the summary. The Flintstones and the Rubbles are modern Stone Age families. Fred and Barney work at Slade and Company mining rock. Fred gives Barney some money so he and Betty can adopt a baby. When Fred and Barney take a test to determine who should become a new associate vice president, Barney returns the favor by switching his test answers for Fred's, whose answers aren't very good. Fred gets the executive position, but little does he know that he's being manipulated by his boss to be the fall guy for an embezzlement scheme. This is a kid's movie. But as a kid, honestly, you were just looking at the wacky dinosaurs and mammoths and in their wacky jobs.
Also, I remember following it. Like, they don't use them, even if I didn't know what embezzlement was, you're like, oh, okay, I kind of follow it.
This is true. But
bad guy making good guy look like bad guy. Got it.
Yeah. Like it has John Goodman, Rick Moranis, Rosie O'Donnell, Halle Berry, Elizabeth Perkins,
Kyle
MacLachlan, the mayor from Portlandia,
and Twin Peaks, and Sex and the City, and
Paula Atreides.
Yes,
I can't believe that the mayor was Paula Atreides.
Oh, and he's in Fallout now. He's great. Yeah,
he is in Fallout. Him. Yeah, but it is a weird. There's one line that I remember that Fred and Barney are fighting. And Fred kicks out Barney from his house because at one point they're living together. And Fred kind of says something like, I don't need you. There are 4,000 other humans in this planet. There's plenty more people.
I haven't seen it in so long.
It's such a dumb movie. I watched it recently. It's fun. The next one is The Reason That You're Here, Anna. Angels in the Outfield.
Can I do a plot summary from memory?
Please do. Oh, please do.
Okay, let me see if I remember the characters' names. Okay, there's Roger, who is played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt, who's in foster care with a really nice older lady named Maggie and some other boys. And his dad is his mom is dead. His dad is a deadbeat. And his dad comes and he's like, when are we going to be a family again, Dad? And his dad's like, when the Angels win the pennant, because they suck. So never. Basically, when hell freezes over is when we're going to be a family again. And he goes off, and Roger, who's young enough to take that literally, is praying to God and is like, I don't know if you're listening. I've never done this before. Could you please have the Angels win the pennant? Please. I really want to be a family again. And then he says, Amen. And then he says, a woman too, because it's very cute. So fast forward, they're at an Angel game, and he sees an angel lift one of the outfielders up. It's Matthew McConaughey. And he makes a miraculous catch after flying. Yeah. And he's like, what? What did I see? Oh my gosh. And then Christopher Lloyd shows up and he says, my name's Al. I'm the head angel. We're here. We heard your prayer. We're here to help the Angels win. By the way, no one can see us or hear us but you. You're the only one. So don't tell anyone about us, and bye. And you see this whole great montage where the Angels are helping the Los Angeles Angels win by rubbing their shoulders or doing stuff with the ball. It's really funny. The coach of the Angels is named George something, and he's played by Danny Glover, and he's really, really cranky. And Tony Danza plays a pitcher. It's such a good cast. There's a little boy named JP. And then at the end, the coach becomes not cranky and adopts the two boys, and everyone lives happily ever after because Joseph Gordon-Levitt's dad is a piece of shit. And even though the Angels are winning, he's like, I didn't mean that. I didn't think the Angels would ever actually win. That's why I said it the way I said it. So anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's great.
It's first of all, sounds like a fever dream.
It's so wonderful.
And then all these
Adrian Brody is also in it. Yeah. So many random actors.
Yeah.
Tons of people.
It's
so good. It's so heartwarming. It's not remotely problematic. It's about two little boys, mostly one little boy, and a coach who has lost his humanity, who finds it again because he believes this kid sees angels. And it's really cute.
Ah.
And it's not really about religion, which is also great for Casey and for me.
We do love that.
And for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't remember. I've seen it maybe once when probably it came out. I probably saw it in on syndication on the TV once.
It's wonderful. I think it's on Disney right now, so I highly recommend.
We gotta make a list for cases to check out movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you were saying who's in it, I didn't realize who, because I know you were going to talk about this, so I didn't want to research too much, and I didn't realize how many. I know Christopher Lloyd was in it. I remember that. Because he's like the main angel, right? I think.
Yeah, he's the main angel.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they have like a sign. So every time Joseph Gordon-Levitt sees an angel, he like does the angel wings, and it's really cute. And so that will inform like who the coach puts into play, because he's like, there's an angel with so-and-so, you have to put him up to hit right now. It's really, it's really cute. It's like peak child actor Joseph Gordon-Levitt too. He's so good. Oh
yeah, because he did Third Rock from the Sun after this, right?
He did. I loved that show.
Yeah. I hope that's not a problematic show now.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Probably.
Yeah, but I don't care. No one's going to ruin that show for me.
No, no, exactly. That show is in a very happy place in my brain. It's never going to leave that place.
Yeah, because I'll never see it again. So it'll always live in that happy place.
Casey, you missed another baseball movie. Are you sad?
I am heartbroken and devastated.
Hey, we like the only truly baseball movie that we watched.
Little Big League?
Major League. What is that called?
Little Big League.
Little Big League.
I did really like that movie. I'm not going to lie.
I didn't really like it. I appreciated it.
Fair enough. Like, I'm excited for my kids to watch that movie one day. Like, I will put that
Casey just wants to have that in her curriculum for business school.
Yeah,
very fair.
Thank you.
I
agree.
Speaking of babies, Baby's Day Out. It's another movie that we missed.
I haven't seen that one.
I used to love this movie. Speaking of fever dreams, this is the summary. Posing as experienced baby photographers, incompetent mafioso Eddie and his equally maladroit henchman. This is a great summary. I don't know what those words. Norby and Vico managed to snatch adorable 9-month-old baby Pink right under the noses of his mother Lorraine and nanny Gilbertine. However, keeping the seemingly helpless hostage in prison is easier said than done, as he proves to be more resourceful and much more intelligent than his desperate captors. A frenzied hunt for him begins against the backdrop of Chicago's bustling and dangerous streets. How will this exciting day out in the city finish? It's literally a baby against a bunch of mafiosos.
Okay, sure.
Special effects were created by ILM. So
what?
This is right after Jurassic Park. They had animatronic babies. They had revolutionary CGI. Like, they had all of these amazing special effects, and I remember them being really cool. I don't know if they hold up, and I haven't seen it in a while. But it's literally it's a very Looney Tune-esque baby against grown up type of cartoon, but it's a live action. It's very silly. I have a feeling that this is an unfounded, controversial opinion that I'm going to have right now, but this is probably better than Home Alone 2, at least.
Wow. So I haven't seen it, so I can't confidently say you're wrong, but okay.
And Home Alone, I do love Home Alone. I can controversially like the second one better than the first one, even though it's exactly the same movie, but in New York. But I just like it because it's New York. But I just don't like Macaulay Culkin's face as a child. I don't like Macaulay Culkin's face. I just don't like it.
These are like just hot take after hot take after hot take.
I don't think it is. No. He's too annoying. He's like, no. Yes.
You're incorrect.
He's a kid. Okay, Casey, I feel like he's the level of annoyance as the head elf of the ELFS. That level of annoyance, that's Macaulay Culkin in my head.
That's crazy. You hate him that much?
Yeah, Anna, you need to listen to our Santa Claus episode.
I do. I'm several episodes behind. I have them all backlogged. They're in my queue.
We hated one specific kid so much, but he's very hateable.
I think that's crazy that you don't like Macaulay Culkin as a child actor. I think that's completely batshit.
I just don't. And you know what? Let's keep it with Macaulay Culkin. The other one I want to talk about is Richie Rich.
Loved that movie when I was a kid. I don't know how that's aged either. It's been a long time.
I'm just going to contradict myself right now because I love that movie.
It does not have great reviews on IMDb.
It does not.
I'm going to read the Google summary. I don't trust these IMDb users anymore. Richie Rich has every toy any little boy could ever want. In addition to an adoring mother and father, The one thing Richie doesn't have is friends. When his parents suddenly go missing, Richie suspects an executive in the family company is to blame. Setting out to solve the mystery, Richie hooks up with a group of kids who prove they just might fill the void in his life while helping him save his folks.
This is the era, or kind of the end of the era, where everyone was okay with being friends with super rich people. This is the era of rich people are awesome. We should be friends with them. Yay.
Was Bradley Whitford the bad guy in this movie? Or am I thinking of Billy Madison?
You may be thinking of Blank Check.
Oh, okay. It's like the same bad guy in all three movies.
Honestly, yeah.
Yeah, just different actors. Bradley Whitford is in one of them, if not multiple.
Wait, is that the... Bradley? Is it?
In The West Wing?
Oh, yeah. No, I was thinking about someone who was a bad guy in all of the 90s movies. Yeah, but yeah, Richie Rich was a very dumb movie that, honestly, the only thing I remember is that it had the really cool gadgets. I just wanted that life. It's just, I don't think there was much difference between the actual Macaulay Culkin and Richie Rich Macaulay Culkin, other than there were some impossible gadgets here and there. But I remember there was like a spy bee that had a little tiny camera. This was 94, so. But that was a movie that, it was a purely 10-year-old fantasy of what it would be to be rich. The plot didn't matter.
No.
It was just purely, I want that. And then put it at the screen, I want that too, I want that too, I want that too. That was the whole movie. Oh, that and Grown-Ups Are Dumb. I feel like there was a lot of 90s and 80s kids movie. Kids are cool, grown-ups are dumb. Parents are incompetent or dead.
That's a really good point, actually.
Miguel Ferrer, that was the bad guy I was thinking of.
Okay. Yeah, Bradley Whitford was the bad guy in Billy Madison, which is a very different kind of movie, but also about a childlike protagonist, mentally speaking.
I've never seen that movie.
Ooh, talk about problematic.
I just love scrolling through the IMDb photos of this movie, and it's like the first 10 of them, of 50, are just different quality versions of the movie cover, which is very funny. And then all of a sudden we see Macaulay Culkin being held up at gunpoint by a 60-year-old man. I'm like, what just happened? That's crazy.
Yep. Yeah, there was a lot of non sequiturs to very grown up things happening on the kids movie all of a sudden.
Oof.
So Casey, you need 90s kids movie. You need to be traumatized a little bit. Well, this next one is, I think, the best kids movie in the 90s, in the whole 90s. Can I call it? The Mighty Ducks 2. D2, The Mighty Ducks.
Cannot believe you didn't do this movie. It's so good.
It's one of those movies that the sequels are much more superior than the first one. They're both in Disney Plus, and yeah, if you're gonna watch that, I think there was a show, Disney Mighty Ducks show.
Maybe, but you get more Mighty Duck. They get an influx of players. You get the ice skater, the figure skater. You get the cowboy. There's another Bash brother, I think, that shows up. It is great.
Kenan Thompson is in this movie. Very young Kenan Thompson.
Yes. I think he's in the first one, though, too.
Is he in the first one?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's part of the original, crew.
All right, this is going to be my summary from memory. I'm actually going to do 1 and 2 because it's kind of related. So the first one was that the coach or the pro hockey skater, Emilio Estevez, was drunk driving. And as a punishment, he has to coach this random hockey kids team because of the 90s. And they're the underdogs. And then there's a love subplot with one of the kids' mom, but yada, yada. They become better. They become friends. And he makes them better. And then they make him better. And then I don't forget if they win the tournament or not. It doesn't matter. But the second movie is way weirder. They represent, if I remember correctly, they represent the United States against, I think it was Finland. I think they didn't do Russia because it was too controversial, but it was either Finland or Canada. But they were representing it, and that was a big bad. Either the Finns or the Canadians, which both options are very funny to think as bad guys. Slick hair, backlit hair, black uniforms, all of these tropes, and they have to come together. And yes, this is where you get the skater, and then you get like the bruiser, and then you get like the very cartoonish little kids.
And the cowboy, like the actual
cowboy. Oh, you
cowboy.
get the cowboy, which at one point lassos an opponent.
Because that's allowed.
I think that I remember. I think they were trying on purpose to be disqualified. Though they were protesting against the coach because Emilio Estevez became famous and he was too full of himself, and they had to humble him again or whatever.
And there's the kid from I can't remember what his name is, but the kid from The Sandlot is in this too.
Oh yeah. Oh, what's his name?
I remember his character's name from The Sandlot, Benny Rodriguez.
I'm looking at the cast. Colombi, Jackson, there's a Benny Rodriguez. But yeah, such a dumb movie, but it's great. Oh, the Flying V. Who can forget the secret weapon? But yeah, I don't know what this says about me, but I discovered Queen because of this movie.
Interesting. Okay.
The post-credit scene is them and the campfire singing "We Will Rock You," and I remember might have been second or third grade. Probably third grade now. All of my class was singing that song over and over.
D3 is not bad either.
I do not remember D3.
They go to college. It's college or high school. No, it's college. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's good.
Oh man.
I was such a big Joshua Jackson. I loved Joshua Jackson so much when I was younger. Sigh.
Oh man. Let's do a 180 and talk about Frankenstein. The complete title is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. And I think it was only named because of Dracula. I think Bram Stoker's Dracula was the year before, or maybe 2 years before this. But this is basically Sexy Frankenstein. Very sexy.
I never saw it.
I remember being good. I don't know if it's good or not, but it's Robert De Niro as the monster. Very sexy Kenneth Branagh as Victor Frankenstein. Very sexy Helena Bonham Carter as who becomes the bride of Frankenstein, I guess, but they didn't call it that. But Ian Holm is in this movie too. There's like really good actors. But I mean, the plot is the Frankenstein monster. Like you made a face, Casey. What did you see?
Robert De Niro. Was not expecting him to be in this one.
He's a great Frankenstein, if I remember correctly.
The monster. I should maybe see that.
Yeah, the monster. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's after Dracula, so they try to kind of say like this is the most accurate to the book. Kind of. I don't know if it's true or not, but I remember this is one of the movies that as a little preteen Jesus, I was like, people are sexy. I can see that.
It took a monster movie to figure that out.
It took a monster movie.
I think for me, it was Who Framed Roger Rabbit, because I was like, Jessica Rabbit. Dang.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
No, and on Frankenstein was honestly Helena Bonham Carter. I always had a crush on her. I don't know. Her as Beatrix. Yeah, I know.
No, I agree. I can agree with that. Also, Aidan Quinn is in this, so he was also pretty booked and busy in the year 1994. So
when did Practical Magic come out? Because he was in that
99 or 98, I think.
Oh, it was later.
I think.
If it's 99, I hope you do it. But I thought it was earlier than that.
I love Practical Magic. It's 98.
I love it so much.
98.
98.
Oh, okay.
Really?
I'm heartbroken.
I thought it was like a 80s movie.
I thought it was earlier 90s, so I guess we're all a little...
Yeah.
Casey was the closest.
It's only because I love that
movie. I wish it was 99.
It's a great movie. Good.
Aidan Quinn's a sexy man.
Mm-hmm. He looked much better in Practical Magic than I think he did in Legends of the Fall. Legends of the Fall, he looked like emaciated. Like, he looked like he was...
so skinny.
Starving. Yeah.
You just hated his character. He was a little bitch in that movie.
I mean, that too, yeah.
You're not wrong.
Speaking of sexy, can we talk about Airheads?
Okay. I was like, and it was.
No, this is peak sexy Brendan Fraser.
No, I agree.
Well, the mummy, this one.
He was also pretty good looking in George of the Jungle, which is...
He was also anorexic in George of the Jungle and kept passing out.
Too skinny. Not skinny, but too like...
cut.
Have you seen Hot Frosty?
Mm-mm.
No.
Well, it's past the holidays, but It's a very dumb, but you definitely should watch this movie. Actually, Sam and Beck review it for a Christmas special.
Okay.
It's a Frosty the Snowman parody a la Hallmark, but it's on Netflix. And the snowman is a sexy snowman, but anyway, he's also too skinny cut. Like it's like too wiry.
He talks about that. He's like, I was not well. I was like on the verge of fainting all the time, just underfed. Yeah.
But anyway,
so Mummy to me is like peak sexy Brendan Fraser, but I get your point.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Airheads probably since the late 90s.
Yeah.
Me neither.
So the Google summary. 3 aspiring rock musicians, Chaz, Brendan Fraser, Pip, Adam Sandler, and Rex, Steve Buscemi, are determined to have their band's demo tape played on the air. Out of desperation, they sneak into a Los Angeles radio station, but when the manager, Milo, meets them with hostility, they resort to threatening him with realistic-looking water pistols. Soon the situation escalates, and the none too bright rockers get in over their heads.
This is a very nice plot.
When I typed in this movie, to see Steve Buscemi was not at all what I was expecting, and I am a little sad that we missed this.
No, kind of good look is Steve Buscemi.
Yeah, he had an era.
He did have a very brief era. There's a meme that they compare. There was a brief era where Steve Buscemi looked a lot like Angelina Jolie, and it's true. I need to find that because there's a comparison. The other one I really wanted to watch, I'm sad we missed, is New Nightmare, which was the 10th anniversary of Nightmare on Elm Street movie. And have you seen this movie? One. It's, again, controversially. Well, I will say it's tied to my favorite with Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is my favorite Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but this one's tied. And New Nightmare is a meta Nightmare on Elm Street movie where the protagonist, I forget her name, of the first movie, the Nightmare on Elm Street, is an actress that is remaking a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie in this movie. And Wes Craven is in this movie. Robert Englund, who is Freddy Krueger, is in this movie as Robert Englund, saying that he has nightmare also of Freddy Krueger. So the whole plot is that they're so involved in the making of the movie that they're manifesting Freddy Krueger into the real life. And then Freddy Krueger, in a very cool trench coat, he doesn't have his traditional sweater, but he has like a really cool trench coat, kind of demonized Freddy Krueger, comes to life because of their manifestation and then starts hunting them for real and starts killing all of the actors of the Nightmare on Elm Street. Dang.
That actually sounds fun. I'm curious now if I should see this.
It's kind of controversial. I feel like it's kind of like what's the Friday the 13th, the Season of the Witch, the 3-1? Was it Friday the 13th or Halloween? Halloween.
I've only seen not many of any of those, like Scream, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, Friday the 13th. Yeah, all of those. I haven't really seen many or any.
I think it was Halloween, the third one, they wanted to go on like, this is not really Michael Myers, but it's like in the world, but it's something else. And people didn't like it. I feel like this is kind of like the same thing. So you guys are not huge horror people?
I like more as I get older because of my husband, but you know.
But I think this Freddy Krueger look is the best Freddy Krueger look.
I watch it. I do like the Scream franchise, so I can get behind Wes Craven. How about that?
I feel like this had to do with the inception of the Scream franchise. Because Scream franchise was a parody of all those movies.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think this was one of the first little toe dips into that kind of meta, very, very meta type of movies. Speaking of horrifying, how about pregnant Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Junior.
Crazy.
I liked this movie when it came out.
So,
but is it good though?
I sincerely doubt it.
Oh my God, it has a 39% on Rotten Tomatoes. So a research scientist becomes the world's first pregnant man in order to test a drug he and a colleague have designed for expectant women. I respect that. I like that. To carry out the trial, he has an embryo implant, believing that he will only carry the baby for 3 months, hardly expecting to face the prospect of giving birth.
And Emma Thompson plays his OB, right?
Yeah. Yes, and then romantic, like
Yeah.
they get it romantically involved at one point. But yeah, I think so. Danny
I'd say
DeVito is in this
I
one.
like Twins better. Of the DeVito Schwarzenegger collaborations, I would say I like Twins more than Junior. But I do have fond memories of this. I'm sure it's horrible, and if I rewatch it, I'm going to be disappointed. But I remember thinking it was funny.
I've never seen Twins. I know.
Stop.
I know.
That's so good. Casey, have you seen Twins?
Mm-mm.
Danny DeVito and Arnold Schwarzenegger are twins separated at birth. That's it. It's great. I did that for a Halloween costume one year with a friend of mine who's like really, really short. Yeah, it was a blast. Had a good
I
time.
feel like a lot of these are like some executive somewhere is very coked up and then
Yes.
just has Arnold Schwarzenegger in his head like, what if Arnold Schwarzenegger was pregnant? What if he had a twin? It was Danny DeVito.
You're not wrong.
Kindergarten Cop is honestly one of the best Arnold Schwarzenegger movies, or at least comedy movies.
That's a great movie.
Yeah. Kind of traumatizing as a kid because I feel like Kindergarten Cop was one of the first movies that I realized parents could be bad. I remember the bad guy was a parent, one of the dads. Have you seen that, Casey?
Mm-mm.
It's a good movie. I highly recommend it.
That was Matilda for me. Was speaking of Danny DeVito, was realizing like, oh, parents can be the bad guys.
My wife loves Matilda, and I don't care for that movie. Another Macaulay Culkin movie was The Pagemaster. A half live action, half cartoon. I rewatched little parts of it because I watch this YouTube channel called Corridor Crew, and they break down VFX and kind of stuff, and they break down some of the VFX of The Pagemaster, and it kind of looked amazing. I kind of want to rewatch it, but
It's so good. And Christopher Lloyd again.
Christopher Lloyd again. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the magic of books. The most magical place in the world is a library because books, it's such a wonderful, like the whole premise is just, 10 out of 10.
Let me read one of the summaries. Let me see if this
I
is
can't
good.
remember if it's good. I'm afraid to rewatch it, but in my memory, it's amazing.
Same. I think it might be. I think we could set the right expectations because it might be cheesy and good. What?
The Rotten
Casey,
Tomatoes score is like 19%.
Oh,
That's okay.
damn.
Tyler knows a lot about accidents. So much so, he is scared to do anything that might endanger him, like riding his bike or climbing into his treehouse. This is a privilege of the 90s, Casey. You were expected to have a bike and a treehouse.
Yeah.
While in an old library, he is magically transported into the unknown world of books, and he has to try to get home again. So yeah, I remember there's like an ink dragon, and then he has three little book companion. One is like horror, one is romance, and one is fantasy, and one is adventure, one is horror. And the three books look like what they are. So the horror one is kind of like a Frankenstein-looking monster thingy. The fantasy, like I feel like it's a fairy.
And he's looking for the exit sign, I think. It's
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the adventure is like a pirate or something. But so yeah, he goes. Does he go to like classic literary books? I don't remember that.
I don't remember.
No,
It's been so long.
Cracking me up. Okay, really quick. The cast: Patrick Stewart as adventure, Whoopi Goldberg as fantasy, Frank Welker as horror, Leonard Nimoy as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, George Hearn.
Yeah.
George Hearn as Captain Ahab, Jim Cummings as Long John Silver, Phil Hartman as Tom Morgan, Ed Gilbert as George Merry, Beast Pirate, and B.J. Ward as the Queen of Hearts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And that's a good movie. I feel like we should do another poll, although I don't know how I would do it. But which movie should we come back to? Or we could do like a question on Instagram. But I feel like we could choose one of these movies to come back to. Two left. So the reason why I did more than 100 is because I wanted to get to Double Dragon. And I remember loving this movie as a kid. And then I rewatched it as an adult, and it was a mistake.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Double Dragon was my favorite arcade game. I would play that game. I would complete that game with $1 with 4 quarters. Like I would do the whole game. It's set 15 years in the post-apocalyptic future of California. So 15 years from 1994, I guess.
In the past now.
In the past, 15 years in the past. Tell me if this kind of sounds familiar. San Diego and Los Angeles are merged into one city, which is kind of like Demolition Man. Two teenage brothers have half of a powerful ancient Chinese talisman. Millionaire Koga Shuko, aka Geisman, has the other half and determined to get the brother's half in order to have the complete medallion and the absolute power of the magical double dragon talisman. It's a very stupid movie, but it's great. You're making faces, Casey.
Just like looking at the images from the movie and cracking up. This is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Are there actual dragons in it, or is it just a video game?
I don't know if I'm making this up, but I feel like there's a very cheesy at the end double dragon, and there's like a bad CGI looking dragon.
Okay.
But there's no dragon. Like there's no actual dragons.
I love dragons. If there are dragons in the movie, I'm in. Like actual like dragons.
No, this is a very much Chinese culture appropriation, the movie.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. No, it's
noted.
And then finally, well, actually, oh man, there was a couple of movies I kind of want to watch. I don't know if it's worth just going through the plot and all that. I should mention them. My Girl 2, unnecessary sequel. Like, why do you have a sequel to My Girl? My Girl's a great movie, I think. I don't remember.
Didn't Lion King come out this year?
Lion King also came out.
I've seen
it so many times.
I just want to understand. We don't have to get into Lion King, but I do want to understand like what how that pitch meeting went, where they're like, "Okay, guys, it's Hamlet, right? You're following me? It's a Hamlet, but it's in Africa with lions, and it's a kids movie, and there are songs. What do you think?"
And then they remade it again a bunch of times.
And then there's a Mufasa movie coming out too. I don't need that. I'm okay.
Yeah. The other one speaking of weird pitches, the other one is Tammy and the T-Rex. And I just read.
Didn't see that one.
An evil scientist implants the brain of a murdered high school student, Michael, into a Tyrannosaurus, a mechanical Tyrannosaurus. He escapes, wreaks vengeance on his high school tormentors, and reunites with his sweetheart, Tammy. Starring Denise Richards as Tammy and Paul Walker as Michael.
Wow.
God.
Yeah.
I'm kind of glad we didn't watch that one. The other, so Anna, a little bit behind the scenes, we randomized it, and we actually got the Fantastic Four movie to watch. I forget which one decided on, but Richard didn't want to watch the Fantastic Four. Do you know about the Fantastic Four movie? 94 Fantastic Four movie?
I think I know the 94 one. I know the one with Jessica Alba and Ewan Grufford, and wasn't Chris Evans in that one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Chris Evans.
Yeah. Which he reprised that role for Daredevil.
Yes. It was really well done. I was very happy about that.
No, the Fantastic Four 94 movie was basically a scam. So I don't remember if it was Fox or the studio. In order to keep the rights to Fantastic Four, they needed to produce a movie or something of the Fantastic Fours. So they hired, the director Cornyn, the one that has really cheap B movies, and they hired actors. They filmed the movie, like they had a whole production for the movie, and then everyone involved was waiting for this movie to be a success and like really be released. But the studio just needed to make the movie and then immediately shelved it. Didn't release it. So they just did it to keep the rights. And nobody knew.
Wow.
So and you can find it on YouTube for free. So, but like it looked really bad, and it was really bad. The thing act makeup was actually pretty good.
I'm cautiously optimistic for the new one.
I'm very excited. I'm uncautiously excited for the new one.
I just haven't been super into Marvel like of late, but I'm also a Pedro Pascal stan. So,
I mean, who isn't?
I know.
I think there's been a couple of good Marvel stuff, but I feel like they're did it with so much shit around it that you kind of lose sight of them.
You have to watch everything to like understand.
Yeah,
there are no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I loved Agatha all along because it's centered around like gay women over 40, which is amazing. Could you imagine doing that in Star Wars? People would be freaking out. Yeah. But still, there were
I know.
parts of that where I'm like, I didn't see this other show, and now I feel like I'm missing something really important. Yeah.
Well, this is what I like Werewolf by Night. Like the sort of one-offs that you don't have to see a lot of them. It's Gael Garcia, and yeah, he's
That was
awesome in
great.
that one. Yeah.
That was great.
But yeah, so I think those are most or all of the movies that we kind of missed. Anna, any other ones? Clerks, yeah.
Clerks, I don't think has aged well at all. It was one of my favorite movies when I was in high school. Like,
probably not
favorite. I just remember the one like Russian guy singing Berserker, and my brother and I will quote like with a chip in salsa and be like, salsa shark. Like some other things, but oh my gosh, I think it's probably aged horribly.
I don't think I've seen that movie in like since probably came out, but like a little bit after that. So I don't think I've seen it in years. But I think I saw it at the exact age when you think like, oh, it's black and white. Ooh,
yeah,
artsy.
It's edgy, it's artsy. Yeah. But he like slut shames his girlfriend, and like there's a bunch of stuff in there that's troublesome. So they made a really funny cartoon TV show of it.
Really?
Yes, that's only like 6 episodes long, and it's really funny. And Alec Baldwin, I'm pretty sure, is in it. Yeah, it's great.
It's awesome.
I'm never going to watch the movie again though, because it will ruin it for me.
It has a 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
It's not surprising.
Yeah, but those are like just cinema nerds that are like, ooh, it's black and white. I can tell you, I think the black and whiteness of it, and the fact that it's what's his face, Kevin
Smith. Yeah.
I think that's just an automatic 90. I heard an interview with Kevin Smith that the reason that it's black and white is because they had zero budget and they really couldn't have lighting, so they were using the lighting of like where they were filming, and it looked like shit with color like cameras, and someone said it looked better in black and white, and that's the only reason why it's in black and white. And then like later we're like, oh, it's black and white because it's a security camera, so blah blah, it's artistic, and like, shit, yeah. No. So whatever.
Yeah, I think most of the guys who write Rotten Tomatoes reviews are like the kind of guys that would like Clerks, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the ones that I was trying to read the plots, but they make no sense.
Exactly.
Yeah, the plot makes no sense. It's just like Dante's not supposed to be here today is the plot. Because he's working at the convenience store and it's supposed to be his day off. So like 80 times during the movie, he's like, I'm not even supposed to be here today. And that's just that's the plot of the movie. Dante's annoyed.
Oh man. Well,
that's all I can. I mean, there are more here, but like. Yeah. I mean, there's Forrest Gump.
But we also had the chance to watch it, and we decided not to.
Yes. 4 Weddings and a Funeral is good.
I am sad that we didn't watch Little Women. I wanted to watch that. I've never seen it.
Which one did we decided instead of that one?
Can't remember.
We cut that one, and then we decided something else instead of that one.
I think we decided It Could Happen to You over Little Women, which I regret. Yeah. I very much regret that now.
And Thumbelina also was like a great movie. Yeah.
Don Bluth.
Yes.
I had the opportunity to meet him one time, and I didn't. He was too expensive. It was one of those conventions that you pay for it.
I did get an update.
I think that's it.
So my sister's friend's dad did not work on the 1994 Ace Ventura. He worked on, I guess, on the sequel.
Oh, okay.
Oh, so that's much better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think so.
So yeah, so that's I think that's a wrap of.
I think that's a wrap.
1994.
Woo!
I think for at least for a while, Anna, you had the chance to talk about 1994 for a little bit.
Yeah.
There's going to be a couple episodes either going to come out or came out already. I think came out already. About my experience as a 10-year-old 1994. We went through like almost a whole album.
Dang.
of my like kind of what made me at that age.
Well, so, by the time this comes out, my second episode of my podcast with Jesus as a guest will have been out for a few weeks. So go check out episode, I think it's going to be 21 with Jesus, where we talk about Boken Jedi. That's me plugging. You didn't ask if you were ready for me to plug, but I'm doing it anyway.
Hold on. Episode of what podcast?
Tea Time on Tatooine is the podcast.
And where can we find Titan on Tatooine?
You can find it on Apple Podcasts, you can find it on Spotify, and you can find it on YouTube.
Which was a very big mistake on your part to do YouTube videos.
I'm not doing video versions anymore. It's just audio versions with like my logo.
I'm going to do that. Yes.
Yep.
I'm going to do that for the second, because that's smart.
Until I can like hire someone to do video editing.
Yeah, you and I can afford Sam. We'll do that.
Exactly.
Oh, I'm nervous to having Sam on the podcast because like he's a pro. He like knows how to edit and he's a like audio engineer, and I'm very amateur. I'm nervous about that.
He's so nice. He will be supportive and wonderful.
Yeah, no, he's very nice.
He's one of my favorites.
I gotta ask Anna for guidance. Okay. My sister-in-law has not watched any of the Star Wars movies, and we're thinking about doing like a whole marathon with her. Do you have a recommendation? Should we do like 1, 2, and 3 Friday?
Shotgun.
4, 5, and 6 Saturday.
Wait, what is shotgun, Jesus? Is that the way that I do it, where you start with... Okay, so you start with 4 and 5.
Okay. Oh.
Then you go back to the prequels. And then you do 6, 7, 8, 9.
Okay, what is the reasoning behind this methodology?
So you start with... Part of it is that you start with the original trilogy because a lot of people, at least in my age group, didn't care for the prequels. Mm-hmm. So it's like, well, you got to start with the original trilogy. Then you end episode 5 with Luke, I am your father. And you're like, who is this Darth Vader guy exactly? So then you go back, and the prequel is sort of like the flashback where you learn like who Darth Vader actually was. Mm-hmm. And then you finish it up with Return of the Jedi and the redemption of Darth Vader.
Okay. All right. Noted. Yeah. I will.
And then you can skip episode 9 or not. it's still good.
It has moments, and then you can slot the. I had my friend put Solo in between episode 7 and 8 because of what happens to Han, and she was so devastated that I was like, you should watch Solo immediately after Force Awakens just to make you feel better. And then Rogue One you can watch. Maybe watch Rogue One first going into episode 4.
Yeah.
That's another option narratively.
Yeah. All right. I think that's our episode.
Have to go, though.
Yes. Thank you so much for being our guest. And as always, a pleasure. Thank you for helping me educate Casey on 1994.
It was lovely. I'm excited to see how your friend likes, or sister-in-law likes, the Star Wars movies.
Yes. Once we get it scheduled, I will let you know.
Yes. Very excited too. Bye. So I think that is officially a wrap on 1994. But we're curious, what movies from 1994 did we miss? Which ones do you want to listen to? Should we come back to 1994? Which ones are you dying for us to talk about? Please let us know. You can email us to bestyeverypod@gmail.com. DM us at bestyever_pod. On Instagram, we're also on YouTube now. Best Year Ever on YouTube, and please leave us comments there. We need the views, so hey, it'd be nice if we have some comments there, some interactions there too. And we're also on Blue Sky now, so we're there as Best Year Ever Pod on Blue Sky. And as always, tell your friends, subscribe, rate, review on Spotify and Apple Pod.